Luke Heisenberg, the adopted son of the prestigious Heisenberg Marquess family, faces harsh criticism as someone yells, "You fool!" while he stumbles backward in shock. The weight of expectations and his mysterious gift hang heavily in the air. Luke's hand trembles as he activates a complex holographic interface from his device, but the harsh words echo in his mind. His gift dismissed as worthless. The weight of doubt presses down harder than ever. Luke desperately pleads with his father, asking why he is so angry. Gesnik Heisenberg, the stern ruler of the Marquis of Heisenberg's territory, responds with a heavy sigh, signaling a reluctant acceptance. The tension between them remains thick as the word gift lingers, hinting at the source of their conflict. A gift from God is something every human is born with, but it carries a rank that largely determines their fate in life. The hierarchy ranges from F up to SS, shaping the course of one's existence. Gesnik demands Luke show his gift again, emphasizing the importance of its rank. Luke's father questions the purpose of the glowing smartphone-like device. While Luke admits he doesn't fully understand it himself, despite his uncertainty, Luke passionately declares that with this unprecedented X-rank gift, the first in history, he will prove his worth to the Marquis, honoring the father who saved him from the orphanage. Gesnik harshly dismisses Luke, calling his X-rank gift useless and ordering him to leave immediately, despite having taken Luke in because of a belief that black-haired, black-eyed people receive rare gifts. Gesnik's disappointment turns violent as he kicks Luke out. Luke's tearful expression reveals the deep pain caused by this rejection. Confused and disoriented, he questions where he is, recalling fragmented memories of his past life. He realizes he was reincarnated into this world from a place called Neon, though the details remain unclear. Luke recalls being forcibly taken from the orphanage by a stern man. Despite his peaceful life there, the man orders a hooded figure to erase Luke's memories with mind control magic and make him obedient, confused and vulnerable. Luke faces the overwhelming magic as it begins to take effect. Luke recalls the harsh reality of his life, where being the son of a noble meant nothing but being treated like a slave, forced to do menial chores and endure physical abuse. Suddenly, soldiers burst through the door, kicking him to the ground as he struggles to protect himself. Luke kneels alone outside, as two soldiers mockingly smirk and call him a lost toy, expressing their loneliness, abandoned and discarded like trash. Luke's frustration boils over as he yells in anger, realizing how useless he has become to them. Despite the lingering effects of the mind control magic, Luke's true self resurfaces, and he joyfully declares his freedom, embracing the chance to live on his own terms, determined to move forward. He sets out looking for a job, clutching a mysterious gift and some money with an unknown purpose. Luke's attempt to find work is immediately shut down when a shopkeeper recognizes him as the disinherited young master of the Viscount family and refuses to hire him. Frustrated and shocked, Luke realizes that his family's influence is still blocking his path at every turn. Luke arrives at the Adventurers Guild, relieved to find a place beyond his family's influence, greeted warmly by a guild receptionist. He confidently asks to register, quietly noting that the Lord's reach doesn't extend here. As he's handed a form to fill out, hope flickers in his eyes for a fresh start. Luke receives his guild card, a novice plate, and thanks the receptionist with a hopeful smile. As he examines his stats, he realizes just how weak he currently is, which makes him reflect on his past life and why he never grew stronger. Despite this, he acknowledges the reality with a resigned expression. Luke learns about Sword Princess Anise Maynard, who astonishingly became an S-rank adventurer at the youngest age ever. Rumors about her have already reached the manor, hinting at significant events tied to her. Intrigued and surprised, Luke reflects on this mysterious figure. Luke nervously stammers as Anise suddenly approaches him, questioning if he called her. Taken aback, he quickly apologizes, flustered and trying to explain himself. Meanwhile, a bystander watches the awkward exchange unfold. A confident man grabs Luke by the collar, warning him that while Anise can be admired, Luke's weak behavior, unable to even defeat a goblin, is unacceptable. Luke, embarrassed and flustered, is told to train before getting involved with someone like Anise. Nearby, others watch the scene unfold, noting how rare it is for her to be involved with a man. Luke sits alone, feeling the sting of everyone's laughter as he eats a piece of bread, counting his remaining coins. He worries about finding a place to stay for the night. Suddenly, his thoughts are interrupted by a sharp voice shouting, "This damn brat!" Luke's heart races as he spots the Lord's private army approaching, their stern presence sending a clear warning. They accuse him of dirtying his clothes by suddenly jumping out, and Luke quickly apologizes, feeling even more cornered. Suddenly, a new voice cuts through the tension, demanding their attention. A burly man calls out to Captain Dragrez and Lady Xena. Mocking their slow and sluggish pace, Dragrez, holding a weapon menacingly, threatens to cut off someone's fingers out of pity for their weak arms. Another voice urgently tells Dragrez to stop, clearly alarmed by his aggressive behavior. Luke is confronted with harsh accusations about being kicked out of the mansion and reduced to a commoner. The voice challenges his authority, questioning what he means to someone who now leads a private army. As the tension escalates, Luke clenches his fists, sweat dripping down his face, while a menacing figure looms, ready to strike the boy who cowers on the ground. Luke, swallowing his fear, realizes the inevitable conflict ahead as he acknowledges the violence that has been used to unite the group. Summoning his courage, he charges forward, shouting for the attacker to back off, determined to stand his ground despite the danger. Luke launches a sudden, fierce kick at his opponent, catching him off guard. The attacker reacts with surprise, while Luke, sweating and tense, mutters that the small fry is getting too confident for his own good. Despite the intense pain from his fractured ribs, Luke refuses to back down or apologize, his defiant gaze cutting through the tension. The attacker, surprised by Luke's unyielding spirit, questions the boldness in his eyes. Luke firmly declares that nothing will change from now on, standing resolute against the threat. The tension escalates as the attacker holds a terrified boy hostage, pressing a blade close to his neck and taunting Luke with a cruel ultimatum. Luke's shock turns to desperate urgency, pleading for the attacker to stop before it's too late. The attacker's chilling warning hangs in the air, leaving no room for hesitation. Luke, overwhelmed but desperate, bows his head and quietly pleads for mercy, begging the attacker to spare the terrified boy. The group of onlookers, including the smug attacker holding the child hostage, watches with cruel amusement as Luke's resolve seems to waver. Luke, forced into a humiliating dejiza, struggles with his pride as the attackers mock him, praising his desperate submission with cruel delight. Despite the torment, Luke's inner turmoil grows, caught between the attacker's taunts and the harsh reality he faces. The attacker violently throws Luke aside, mocking him with cruel words that shatter his hopes of becoming a hero. Despite being physically freed, Luke's expression reveals the heavy weight of his inner struggle and lingering despair. The attacker, grinning cruelly, taunts Luke with a promise to kill him quickly to spare him from suffering, his confidence bolstered by the bow he wields. Meanwhile, the child watches anxiously from a distance as the tension escalates. Suddenly, a swift movement breaks the moment, signaling a sudden action about to unfold. Summoning every ounce of courage, Luke lunges forward with fierce determination, his eyes burning with resolve. Behind him, the child watches in shock, caught between fear and hope. With a sharp cry, Luke breaks the tense silence, ready to confront the threat head-on. Luke struggles to steady his trembling legs, amazed that his body moved on its own despite his doubts. Though he acknowledges his limitations, a flicker of hope shines through as he realizes he has taken a crucial first step. Yet, deep down, he still wrestles with the harsh belief that someone like him can never become a hero. Luke's voice trembles with fierce determination as he declares his desire to act on his own will. Even if just once, sweat and tears mingle on his face, revealing the depth of his struggle and resolve. With a burst of energy, he charges forward, ready to prove himself. With unwavering focus, she locks eyes with her opponent, sword raised and ready to strike. Her grip tightens, every muscle poised for the clash that will test her resolve. The moment hangs suspended, charged with the promise of fierce battle. Their eyes meet in a charged moment, a silent exchange of determination and surprise. The tension between them is palpable, each fully aware that the next move could change everything. Time seems to slow as the battle's intensity hangs in the balance. She confronts the injustice head-on, condemning the lynching of an innocent man by a lord's private army. With steely resolve, she warns that if necessary, she will escalate the matter to the royal palace, challenging the abuse of power. The tension between her and the enraged man is palpable, a clash of authority and conscience. As the others walk away, she remains standing, reflecting bitterly on her failure to act. Her gaze sharpens with disdain as she calls out to the young man, warning him that he has crossed a line. Despite her stern rebuke, a hint of hesitation lingers in her thoughts. She acknowledges his courage with quiet respect, her words carrying a weight of understanding. As he listens, tears well up in his eyes, a mix of relief and unresolved pain shining through. The moment is tender, bridging the gap between their struggles. Anise is warned not to rush in alone, but a knight playfully teases the young man, ruffling his hair and acknowledging his surprising courage. Meanwhile, a quiet voice observes from the side, noting that the young man is different from the others. The young man reveals he only has a single elixir, surprising those around him, despite the warnings about being reckless. Anise listens intently before turning to leave. Before she goes, the young man calls out to her, expressing his heartfelt gratitude for her help. Despite the surprise and concern from the onlookers, the young man reassures the boy with a gentle smile, telling him it's okay. The boy, overwhelmed, begins to cry, but the young man's comforting words and touch show his kindness and strength. Those around them quietly acknowledge the boy's fighting spirit, touched by the moment. The young man reflects on the incredible healing power of the high-grade potion Anise gave him. Amazed that his wound healed completely after just a small sip, he feels grateful and thinks he should thank Anise properly. Meanwhile, from a distance, a quiet voice acknowledges Anise's cool and impressive nature. The young man compares himself to Lyak, realizing he's different and once seen as a reckless fool. Sitting alone by the fountain, he sighs deeply, quietly wishing that someday he could be like Anise. The young man holds a sleek smartphone, puzzled by its purpose and feeling far behind Anise's level. Suddenly, a memory stirs. He wonders if this is the same device from his past life. His eyes widen in surprise as he tries to grasp the significance of the mysterious gift. He tentatively presses the button on the device, recalling that in his past life, it was used for taking photos. As the screen displays a detailed image of the potion bottle, he is amazed by the clarity and the option to view details, sparking his curiosity even further. The young man realizes the device is performing an appraisal, revealing detailed information about the potion's healing properties. Intrigued, he notices additional options on the screen, including a mysterious copy output feature. His curiosity deepens as he explores the possibilities this device might hold. Stunned, he watches as the potion's power unexpectedly increases, leaving him questioning the device's true ability. As he processes this, someone nearby casually asks if they can take a photo, adding a moment of normalcy to the strange discovery. As the device reveals two new abilities, Gift Archmage and Gift Sword Demon, the young man is stunned, barely able to believe what he's seeing. He stares at the screen in awe, whispering, "Whoa," while a mysterious hand holding scissors appears, hinting that something unexpected might be about to happen. Suddenly, his body feels incredibly light, and he instinctively knows how to move with precision and agility. Surprised by this newfound grace, he readies himself, sensing a shift in his abilities. Realizing the possibilities, he excitedly wonders if this newfound power includes magic as well. Tentatively, he extends his hand, focusing his energy. Suddenly, magical sparks swirl around him, confirming his ability to wield magic. With determination, he commands fire as a swirling blaze erupts from his hand. Suddenly, shocked voices shout from nearby, scolding him for recklessly using magic in the middle of the street. Caught off guard, he nervously apologizes, realizing the consequences of his impulsive action. He anxiously checks his phone, relieved that they weren't exposed to Gesnik, but confusion quickly takes over as he notices something strange. Holding a mysterious, glowing object in his hand, he stammers, trying to comprehend what it could be. Suddenly, a sharp movement catches his attention, leaving him startled and uncertain. Exhausted and trembling, he struggles to hold himself up, overwhelmed by muscle soreness and mana depletion from using his newfound magic. Doubt gnaws at him. He can't possibly master this power without training or practice, even with the gift he's been given. Yet, despite his fears, he knows this gift is truly extraordinary. Clutching the phone tightly, he steels himself with determination, realizing that this gift could make him much stronger. He aspires not just to match Anise's strength, but to become a man who can help others even more than that. The unprecedented X-rank gift, a smartphone, glows with mysterious power, despite being discarded by his foster father in a rage. It's this very gift that helped him regain consciousness before being brainwashed, through a fateful encounter. The true ability of the smartphone is revealed, setting him on a new path to become a strong adventurer with a clear goal. The realization dawns. This is exactly what it should be. But now, the intense muscle pain overwhelms him, leaving him sprawled on the bed, struggling through the agony. The protagonist explains the smartphone's abilities. It can appraise photograph targets, obtain their gift skills, and even duplicate them. Though the duplicates can be destroyed, however, copied abilities aren't originally his, so his body struggles to keep up. Additionally, powerful magic requires a significant amount of magic power, limiting what he can use. To fully utilize the smartphone's powers, leveling up is crucial. However, beginners can't accept subjugation requests on their own and must first gain experience by joining higher-ranked adventurer parties. Progressing through ranks by accumulating experience is the fundamental path forward. The young man is overwhelmed, feeling frustrated as two figures from his past loom in his mind, blaming him for constantly interfering with their plans. Despite his exhaustion, he vows to make them pay someday, while acknowledging that the situation is spiraling out of control. Determined to level up without relying on the subjugation request, he focuses on completing the collection request instead. Stepping outside the town for the first time, he cautiously ventures into the forest, aware of the challenges ahead. The young man spots a goblin emerging quickly from the forest, its frightening face making his heart race. He reminds himself to stay calm, noting that this is just a beginner adventurer's introductory monster, and that the goblin hasn't noticed him yet. Despite his nerves, he accidentally snaps a twig underfoot, risking detection. The goblin lunges fiercely at him, its claws outstretched and mouth open in a terrifying snarl. Despite the sudden attack, he steadies himself, gripping his sword tightly and urging himself not to be afraid. Determined, he braces for the fight ahead. With swift precision, he strikes down the goblin, securing the magic stone it dropped. Holding the stone in his palm, he recognizes it as a valuable A-rank gift called the Sword Demon. Realizing its worth, he contemplates the money he could earn by selling it. Suddenly, he notices more goblins nearby, their numbers far greater than he expected. Peeking cautiously from behind a tree, he hides among the bushes, trying to stay unseen, curious and cautious. He wonders aloud what might happen if he takes a picture of one of these goblins. He discovers that taking a picture of a goblin grants him a new skill called Sense of Smell. Realizing the skill's usefulness, he tries to stay calm as the goblins notice him, overwhelmed by their numbers. He admits he can't handle so many at once, but then detects an unfamiliar scent nearby. Spotting a slime nearby, he recalls the skill he gained from the goblin, tracking and reconnaissance, and decides to rely on it. He plans to capture footage of the slime before it notices him. Knowing that defeating monsters grants new skills, preparing to use magic, he readies himself to take the shot. He boldly casts a fire spell at the slime, determined to capture its skills. As the spell is unleashed, he feels a surge of confidence, ready to see what abilities the slime possesses. Later, he rests under a tree, using his sense of smell skill to scout and reflect on the slime's potential powers. Discovering the skill, Null Physical, which turns the body semi-liquid to nullify physical attacks. He wonders if humans can use it too. Curious and eager, he activates the skill on himself, watching in amazement as his hand becomes gelatinous. Testing its limits, he finds that his transformed hand truly can't be cut. He marvels at the incredible gift of humans being able to use a monster's ability, something he's never heard of before. As he watches the peaceful landscape, he reflects on Anise's daring quest to conquer the labyrinth, a place only accessible to high-ranking adventurers. Inspired, he silently wishes to one day join her in the dungeon and share in the adventure. As he tests his newfound ability, he imagines himself effortlessly outrunning a chasing boar and a slime. Suddenly, he's thrust into a tense battle, dodging attacks from goblins with quick reflexes and determination. The scene shifts to a fierce clash, where his resolve is tested against relentless foes. 1 month later, Luke reflects on his progress, noting that thanks to the Experience X10 skill he received from the Golden Slime, he has managed to level up significantly. Now at level 75, he sits relaxed and contemplative after a bath, acknowledging how far he's come. As Luke's level increased, his smartphone ability evolved, gaining new functions like search to investigate details, translation to understand animal languages and ancient texts, and map to display his current location. Feeling refreshed after a bath, he decides to visit the guild, having saved enough magic stones. Meanwhile, he receives the rewards from a gathering request and the magic stones he purchased, expressing his gratitude. Despite his growing strength and ability to hunt many monsters, Luke is frustrated that his adventurer rank hasn't improved. He reflects on the distance to Anise and questions his current standing, feeling conflicted about his progress. Luke is stunned to see Anise and quickly asks if she just returned from the labyrinth. Calmly, she confirms she was gathering provisions, leaving Luke both surprised and uncertain as they share a tense, close moment. Anise reassures Luke that his injury seems fine, prompting a relieved and grateful response from him. Despite his excitement, Luke struggles to find the right words to express himself, realizing how long it's been since he's had a meaningful conversation. Luke's heart races as he calls out to Anise, eager to finally speak his mind. Overwhelmed by the moment, he clenches his fist, determined to express what he's been holding back. Anise looks on with quiet curiosity, sensing the change in him. Luke boldly declares his determination to become stronger and earnestly asks Anise if she would like to go dungeon crawling with him someday. Nearby, a knight watches in disbelief, surprised that Luke, who only became an adventurer a month ago, is now speaking up confidently. Anise remains silent, her expression unreadable as she processes his words. Luke meets the knight's surprised gaze with a humble smile, admitting that he is still just a novice, despite his low rank. There's a quiet confidence in his eyes as he stands firm, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. The knight's disbelief lingers as he reaches out, touched by Luke's determination. Frustration erupts as a knight angrily accuses Luke of lying about his stats. Demanding to know who's responsible for his training, Luke calmly explains that his complicated background prevents him from forming a party or taking on proper requests, while others quietly speculate that external pressure from the Dragress might be influencing the situation. The adventurers are left speechless as one accuses another of abandoning a beginner out of fear of the higher-ups. Breaking the tense silence, the knight confidently steps forward, slapping a comrade on the shoulder and declaring, "Leave it to me!" with a determined grin. With a confident smirk, the knight challenges Luke to attack from any direction, eager to test the rookie's skills. Meanwhile, Luke stands tensely, gripping his sword tightly, overwhelmed and silently questioning how he ended up in this daunting situation. At the Adventurer Guild's underground training area, confusion fills the air as one participant questions the unexpected situation. Observers explain that this is a mock battle, designed because no one knows the true nature of the person they're facing. One of the knights encourages the newcomer to watch the battle to understand what kind of person he is facing. Meanwhile, the newcomer, gripping his sword tightly, urges his opponent to attack without hesitation. The tension rises as a fiery spell begins to form in the air. The opponent launches a straightforward attack using newly learned fire magic, but it suddenly vanishes, leaving the knight surprised. He senses something different about this adversary's potential, noting a stealthy, dizzying effect emanating from the attack. The newcomer swiftly casts a spell called Shrink Earth, launching an attack with precision. His opponent's sharp gaze locks onto the move, acknowledging it with a confident smile, signaling that he has noticed the tactic. The tension escalates as both prepare for the next move in this intense duel. The knight forcefully knocks the newcomer to the ground, pressing his sword against him. Despite the harsh blow, the newcomer struggles to stay composed, his expression filled with determination and doubt. He admits to himself that his opponent is too strong, fearing he might not win after all. The crowd reacts with surprise as the newcomer struggles to keep up, drawing skeptical questions about his abilities. Despite his impeccable skill and sense, the knight points out that he still can't fully utilize them, casting doubt on the newcomer's true potential. A new challenger steps forward, announcing himself as the next to fight, much to the relief of the newcomer who gratefully accepts. Meanwhile, a call echoes out, urging the group to join the mock battle even if they can't form a full party, sparking a sense of camaraderie. The tension heightens as swords clash once again, signaling the continuation of the intense duel. The newcomer narrowly escapes a magical attack, his panic evident as he scrambles away. Nearby, a confident figure prepares a whip, ready to strike. Meanwhile, others take a moment to relax and capture the lively atmosphere with smiles and playful poses. The scene culminates with the newcomer locking swords in a tense duel, determination burning in his eyes. The newcomer reflects on how much he has learned in just a few days but questions if it's truly enough. He struggles with the idea that merely copying others feels like a cowardly act. Determined, he clenches his fist, ready to find his own path. The newcomer is confronted by Badan, who questions his presence with sharp disbelief. Badan reflects on the newcomer's rapid growth, acknowledging there must be a secret behind it, but dismissing it as irrelevant. Meanwhile, the newcomer humbly admits that his power is not solely his own, even as he vows to work hard. As the mood lightens, a cheerful man raises his mug and asks if the newcomer plans to misuse the power he's been given. The newcomer quickly denies any ill intent, prompting a smirk and reassurance that there's nothing wrong with using that power. With a shy smile, the newcomer softly agrees, feeling the weight of the moment. Badan questions the newcomer's words with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. The newcomer politely thanks Badan, hinting at deeper reasons behind his actions. Badan then admits he has a fondness for people, though there's more he's not yet revealing. The newcomer reveals the name Anise, surprising those around him. Anise, calm and composed, explains that since the newcomer has never asked her for anything before, she can't exactly refuse his request to lend a hand. The tension rises as her unexpected willingness hints at deeper connections. Badan lashes out in frustration, demanding to know why Anise is speaking without his permission. Anise, calm and resolute, confronts him directly. Meanwhile, The newcomer awkwardly asks what makes Baden so fond of the scrawny guy, prompting Baden to abruptly leave, declaring he'll take his leave. A confident voice urges the rookie to get it together, but the rookie, caught off guard, points out he's already on the second floor. Suddenly, a sharp, "Hey" from a serious girl startles someone nearby, causing a panicked reaction. The two sit quietly, one asking if the other found the stranger's words strange, but the reply is calm. Nothing weird at all. Meanwhile, a man nervously thanks Anise for her kindness, though she brushes it off as no big deal. Another man wonders aloud why she would go to such lengths for him, recalling that she was there for him back then. A determined figure confronts someone for challenging an opponent they can't possibly defeat, all for the sake of a child they barely know. Meanwhile, a rare moment of vulnerability is revealed as another character awkwardly admits to showing his uncool side, denying any such thing despite tears in his eyes. The scene reflects on how uncommon it is for people to risk their lives to help others. She explains that it's not about rejecting meaningless bonds but about how they can hinder growth, gently reassuring. She says it's okay to lose, but urges them not to give up, promising that she will be waiting. Anise calmly reassures him that she is fine and promises she will be waiting. His expression shifts from surprise to hopeful realization, as he begins to wonder if something unexpected is happening. With renewed determination shining in his eyes, he clenches his fist and shouts, "Let's do this!" ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Fragments of memories and fleeting moments intertwine, capturing smiles, camaraderie, and quiet reflections, each a testament to the bonds formed and the journey yet to unfold. In a sudden burst of action, he lunges forward with fierce determination, catching his opponent off guard. The tension escalates as the other man, sword in hand, watches with a mix of surprise and caution. Amidst the confrontation, a quiet but firm voice breaks through, urging, "Give up." The tension breaks as one of the men calls out to take a break and go eat, bringing a moment of relief. The scene shifts to the lively guild tavern and cafeteria, filled with members enjoying their time together. A close-up of a sizzling steak on a plate accompanies a compliment, highlighting the warmth and camaraderie shared during this pause. The group shares a light-hearted moment, reflecting on the growth achieved in just a month and the goals ahead. Suddenly, a voice calls out, warning someone not to get too close, catching the attention of a man behind the bar. The mood shifts as he turns, surprised to hear his name called. A man points out that the kid everyone ignores is an F rank, prompting a nervous maid to explain that despite not being able to rank up, the kid has been growing stronger through mock battles. The man scoffs, dismissing this progress as uninteresting. Dragless is recognized by a burly man who remarks it's been a while, catching him off guard. The atmosphere tenses as Dragless is told to step outside. While others at the table exchange uneasy glances, the man taunts them, mocking their camaraderie as mere make-believe. Dragless, trying to stay composed, admits he's recently found something enjoyable. Seizing the moment, the burly man grins confidently and challenges him to a fight, eager to test his strength. The confident captain of the private army steps forward, challenging them directly and daring them to refuse his fight. The tension rises as the others exchange uneasy glances, unsure of how to respond. With a determined step, one of them declares, "I'll be the judge." Mr. Bardon warns that refusing the fight will only bring more trouble and urges them to accept while he can still hold the captain back. The tension heightens as the captain smirks confidently, ready to move forward, while the others reluctantly agree. The captain, Dragless, confidently assures them he will hold back, his status and overwhelming power evident as he smirks. The protagonist reflects on the stark difference in their levels, realizing Dragless is likely stronger than even an S-class adventurer, making the challenge daunting. Determined despite the overwhelming odds, the protagonist grips his weapon tightly, acknowledging his growth and resolve. With a sharp declaration to begin, he unleashes his power, combining wind magic with his shrink earth technique as he charges forward. The battle is officially underway. Dragless taunts the protagonist's boldness as they clash swords fiercely. The protagonist's attack is forceful, but Dragless easily sidesteps, sending him crashing against the wall. A bystander's shocked expression reveals the move's unexpected power. The protagonist launches a fierce overhead strike, his determination burning in his eyes as he aims directly at Dragless. Dragless, caught off guard, turns his head sharply, a flicker of surprise flashing across his face. The tension spikes as the clash draws near, both warriors locked in a moment of intense anticipation. As the protagonist raises his sword with fierce determination, Dragless warns him not to get too cocky. Suddenly, the protagonist closes the distance, delivering a powerful elbow strike that catches Dragless off guard, breaking his guard and shattering the wooden sword. Dragless taunts the protagonist for retreating, calling him a losing dog as he prepares to strike the final blow. The protagonist, sweat dripping down his face, steels himself, his eyes narrowing with resolve. Dragless grins confidently, declaring, "This is the end." Just as Dragless prepares to deliver his final strike, a commanding voice cuts through the tension, declaring, "That's enough." The leader of the private army steps forward, his calm yet sharp gaze challenging Dragless' intentions. Dragless snarls in response, demanding to know what the leader is planning, while the leader taunts him for getting serious over a beginner. Dragless sneers, belittling the others as mere weaklings, while the protagonist, tears welling up, admits to feeling like he's just being protected again. Despite his disappointment for not winning, he acknowledges everyone's effort. Anise approaches him with a gentle smile, praising his hard work. Anise gently scolds Ade with a light slap, calling him a baka as he reacts in surprise. She reassures him with a warm smile, telling him she doesn't care how many times he loses because he's steadily getting stronger. Ade, touched by her words, quietly acknowledges her encouragement. The others cheer him on warmly, acknowledging his progress despite the setbacks. He looks touched and quietly expresses his gratitude, his eyes reflecting a mix of determination and appreciation. The moment carries a gentle sense of camaraderie and hope. Determined, Ade boldly declares he'll get stronger and promises to level up by battling monsters once the decision is made. As he rushes off with renewed energy, a knight watches him with a mix of amusement and exasperation, remarking on Ade's lively spirit. With a gentle smile, Anise wishes Ade good luck, her encouragement lingering in the air. Fueled by her support, Ade steels himself and dives into battle, determined to push harder and grow stronger. Each strike he lands is a step closer to his goal. He demands more from himself, refusing to back down. 1 month of relentless training pays off as Ade finally reaches level 100, with fierce determination. He strikes strongly, celebrating his hard-earned milestone with a triumphant shout. Ade discovers a new ability called photosynthesis, and wonders how to use it. Curious, he decides to test the synthesis function on his sword, hoping to unlock its potential. As he activates it, mysterious energy swirls around, signaling the start of something new. As Ade activates the synthesis function, his sword bursts into a fiery aura, surprising him with its sudden power. He realizes that magic or skills can be synthesized onto weapons he's photographed, opening new possibilities. Testing it out, Ade watches in awe as the sword's flames react to the environment, confirming the ability's potential. Ade realizes that the iron sword's durability can't handle the strain of magic, signaling its limits. As he nears level 100, he acknowledges the increasing difficulty in leveling up and decides it's time to upgrade his equipment and face stronger foes. With his plan set, he heads toward the weapon shop to prepare for the challenges ahead. Ade reveals he spent his savings to buy a Damascus steel sword known for its high magical affinity. He recalls how the weapon shop owner was surprised by his purchase. Mistaking him for a beginner, confident, Ade prepares to infuse the sword with fire attribute magic, ready to unlock its true potential. With a confident smile, Ade activates the synthesis skill, initiating a magical process around his new Damascus steel sword. As the energy swirls and intensifies, he prepares to combine the sword's potential with powerful fire magic. Meanwhile, in a quiet forest, someone senses a presence and cautiously spots something ahead. The Jade Hornet, an insect-type monster with a strong exoskeleton and detection skills, poses a serious threat even to S-class adventurers, but it is vulnerable to fire magic. Using conceal and wind magic, Ade can erase his presence, sound, and scent, while the disguise skill, inspired by the phantom chameleon, hides his appearance to avoid detection. Ade reflects on how he used to only run from the Jade Hornet, but now, with his sword ready, he feels capable of fighting back. Determined, he prepares to strike with a surprise attack, hoping to defeat them all at once. As he takes flight, his resolve to change his fate strengthens. Ade launches a swift surprise attack, striking the Jade Hornet with a fiery blow that sends it reeling. Despite the shallow burn, he remains determined, gripping his sword firmly as he declares, "But I can do it!" As the Jade Hornet launches a fierce attack, Ade activates his special evasion skill, narrowly dodging the strike. With quick reflexes, he combines his contraction and flight abilities, preparing to counter. Determined, Ade refuses to give up, shouting, "Not yet!" as he readies himself for the next move. With unwavering focus, Ade charges forward, sword raised high for a decisive strike. The Jade Hornet braces itself, ready to counter the incoming attack. The tension between them crackles as the battle reaches a critical moment. Ade summons the S-rank gift, Sword Saint, a powerful and radiant sword, as the Jade Hornet hovers nearby, ready for the next clash. Ade braces himself as a massive explosion erupts overhead, the ground cracking beneath him from the sheer force of the blast. Despite the chaos, he remains grounded, ready for whatever comes next. Breathing heavily, Ade surveys the aftermath of the battle. Standing amid the shattered ground and rising smoke, he quietly affirms his victory, whispering, "Defeated them." Suddenly, a sharp cry breaks the silence as someone clutches their arm in pain. While Ade looks on, surprised, holding a mysterious object that has just appeared. Despite his exhaustion, Ade smiles with renewed hope, realizing that with the power of photosynthesis, he can challenge even stronger enemies. As he lies back against the rubble, a quiet determination settles over him. Outside, the peaceful sky contrasts with the turmoil still lingering in his thoughts. The two girls exchange skeptical remarks about the boy, questioning if he's really a candidate for their party and doubting his reliability. Meanwhile, the boy kneels, sweating nervously, wondering what's going on and hoping this isn't some awkward attempt to hook up. The tension is thick as everyone tries to gauge his true intentions. The boy, overwhelmed and sweating, looks up nervously at the three women standing before him. Their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. As the weight of the moment presses down, he silently questions the strange and tense encounter, wondering what exactly is unfolding. The air is thick with uncertainty as all eyes fix on him, waiting for answers. Confusion and tension fill the air as the group stares in disbelief, while the young man struggles to comprehend the chaotic situation unfolding before him. Suddenly, the scene shifts back to 1 hour earlier, hinting at the events that led to this moment. Ryuk, now level 100, confidently declares his readiness to take on higher-level monsters, eager to test the skills he's acquired. Meanwhile, a notice about recruiting for a king worm subjugation party catches his attention, prompting a sharp, unexpected outburst from someone nearby. Tensions flare as a man harshly dismisses a woman, accusing her of looking down on him just because she's a woman. The woman, clearly rejected again, decides to report to reception while urging the others to proceed without her. Suddenly, a new woman approaches the young man, catching him off guard as she calls out to him. The woman recognizes the young man as the beginner who has been training with Bardan and asks if he's interested in the king worm subjugation request. Surprised and unsure, he hesitates, asking for clarification about the request. The scene shifts back to the beginning, emphasizing his confusion and curiosity. The woman introduces herself as Gina, leader and swordsman of the A-rank party Crimson Maidens, and presents her teammates. Kisti, their priest, and Yufio, their mage. Yufio questions Gina about bringing a beginner along, but Gina defends the young man, noting he's been trained by the S-rank adventurer Bardan and should be able to perform decently. The young man internally reels as they confidently discuss his role, claiming he's perfect for their team since he's a beginner who can handle odd jobs and support them in battle, and that Bardan's taken a liking to him. Gina then cheerfully invites him to join their temporary party to subjugate the kingworm, addressing him as beginner boy with a mix of teasing and encouragement. Surprised and unsure, the young man questions if they really want him to join them, despite his hesitation and mention of complicated personal circumstances. The women reassure him that none of that matters. Meanwhile, a group of men nearby comments on how the all-female party already draws attention at the guild, acknowledging the challenges they face. The young man nervously admits he admires someone, prompting a mix of reactions from the group: teasing, encouragement, and quiet approval. Despite his hesitation, he brightens at the thought of adventuring in a party, expressing genuine excitement. The decision is finalized. They will set out in 3 days, and everyone is told to prepare. 3 days later, the young man arrives early, nervous but eager, and greets Anise awkwardly. She notices his excitement and, in response, offers him a Fortalapis charm, explaining it's said to bring good luck as she acknowledges his acceptance of the subjugation request. He gratefully thanks her, touched by the gesture. She quietly asks if he really came all this way just to give her the charm. Their expressions soften as she tells him to be careful, and he admits how happy he is to receive it. The group discusses their next target: the kingworm, a large monster dwelling in desert areas, whose habitat they discovered 3 weeks ago. It will take about 5 days by carriage to reach the location. Ryuk is assigned to handle odd jobs along the way and support the team from the rear during battle with a special weapon, prompting him to ask if he won't have to fight directly. Ryuk is firmly told that as a beginner, he would quickly perish in close combat. Despite his hopeful protests, reluctantly, he accepts the warning with a nervous smile. The group then departs, setting off on their journey through the open landscape under a clear sky. The team swiftly takes down the massive king worm, showcasing their impressive skills and teamwork. As the dust settles, one member reflects on how this high-level party leaves little room for someone like them to shine. The defeated monster lies motionless, a testament to the group's strength. As the group prepares to move on, one member hesitates, concerned about the blood on an item they're holding. Gratefully accepting a clean cloth, they quietly thank their companion before the team resumes setting up camp for the night. The scene shifts to a peaceful moment around the campfire, where exhaustion begins to take hold. As the group tends to their wounds, one member carefully finishes stitching an injury and hands it back with a quiet, "Thank you very much." Another, observing closely, asks Ryuk why he became an adventurer. Noting that he seems different from the others, Ryuk's expression shifts, caught off guard by the question and the implication behind it. The group comments on Ryuk's surprising attentiveness and suggests he might be better suited for work in town. Ryuk quietly admits he's good at chores because he was always made to do them at home, beginning to explain why he became an adventurer. As the conversation continues, the group teases him about having a terrible father, while their journey presses onward. The group reassures Ryuk that he's not useless and acknowledges the hardships he's endured, prompting a shy but sincere thank you from him. Ryuk then opens up, admitting that although he was frustrated when he was kicked out, he now feels grateful because he met someone he admires and gained a goal to become like that person. Ryuk smiles warmly, expressing how grateful he is to have gone on adventures with the group, especially Gina. The girls are visibly touched and emotional, struggling to find words as they process his heartfelt admission. Their feelings burst out as one of them grabs Ryuk in a sudden, joyful hug, calling him a good guy, while the others watch in surprise. Ryuk wonders why the group would let a beginner like him join when an A-rank party could choose their members carefully. The girls quickly dismiss the idea, calling those other parties idiots and explaining that many underestimate them simply because they're an all-female party, often facing lecherous or dismissive attitudes from others. Ryuk realizes why the girls were so cautious when they first met. The group is determined to prove their worth by subjugating the king worm and showing everyone who doubted them that they're not to be underestimated. Moved by their resolve, Ryuk admires them, calling them amazing and really cool. As the group faces the towering king worm, one of the girls charges forward with determination, while another prepares to cast a spell. Suddenly, a sharp crystal pierces the creature's head, and Ryuk reacts with shock as he holds the crystal firmly in his hand. The group arrives at their final campsite, a quiet spot by the water surrounded by rocky cliffs. They plan to rest well today and prepare thoroughly for the subjugation battle awaiting them tomorrow. The girls enjoy a refreshing soak in the water, expressing how great it feels to relax like this. Meanwhile, Ryuk sits nearby, focused on checking their surroundings with his detection and smell abilities. Though he can't help but react to the lively atmosphere, one of the girls playfully warns him not to peek, but Ryuk denies any such intentions. Ryuk recalls the self-destructibility of the Crimson Serpent he saw in the desert, noting it can be synthesized with adamantite. Though impressed by the power, he decides it might be best to set this knowledge aside for now. Suddenly, a scream breaks his concentration, and he quickly reacts, alarmed by the unexpected cry. Suddenly, a massive water slime emerges, engulfing their carriage and stealing their equipment. Leaving the group defenseless, shocked, they realize this enormous creature must have been hiding at the bottom of the lake all along. Ryuk, stunned by its size, questions how they missed such a threat right beneath them. Panic spreads as they scramble out of the water, urged to hurry by a commanding voice. One of them calls out to Yumao, who struggles to get up, clearly shaken. Suddenly, a massive, dark shape lunges toward them with terrifying speed. With swift determination, he channels his power and unleashes a devastating cold blast, sending sharp, icy shards flying toward the looming threat. The blast shatters the surrounding area, a fierce counterattack against the monstrous danger closing in on them. With a sharp tsh, he swiftly counters, unleashing his swordsman skill, Whirlwind Blade, sending shards of ice and debris spiraling violently around him as he prepares to strike. As the shattered remnants of the water slime fade, Gina and the others stare in stunned disbelief at Ryuk's overwhelming power. One whispers in awe how he took down such a massive foe in an instant, while Ryuk himself quietly questions, "Just who are you?" The two women, wrapped in towels, stare at Ryuk with a mix of shock and confusion, demanding to know what he really is. Ryuk, sweating nervously, contemplates how much of the truth he should reveal to them. Slimes begin to regenerate from scattered fragments, prompting Ryuk to shout a warning. Suddenly, he produces weapons seemingly out of nowhere, urging everyone to arm themselves. The two women react with shock and confusion, questioning where he pulled the weapons from. The women are stunned to realize the weapons Ryuk produced possess special attributes. While Ryuk insists they explain everything later, as they prepare for battle, the regenerated slimes are swiftly defeated, disappearing in a flash. With the threat eliminated, one of the women signals Ryuk to proceed. Confused and still processing everything, the women suggest that they should all get dressed first. Ryuk's gaze sharpens as he tries to make sense of the situation. While the tension in the room lingers, suddenly, a startled scream breaks the moment. Ryuk struggles to process the overwhelming truth, thinking to himself that this is absurd. The group sits around a campfire as one of the women explains that his swordsman's physical and magical abilities must be at least A rank, possibly even S rank. She then points out the incredible nature of the equipment he kept pulling out from nowhere, clearly astonished. The women realize that the weapons Ryuk provided are no ordinary gear. They possess magical effects and are classified as ultra-rare equipment typically found deep within dungeons. Ryuk nervously admits he acted on impulse, giving them weapons he had been experimenting with, unsure how to explain their origin. The group is stunned as they realize Ryuk's photo ability can duplicate captured items, and even add new abilities to them. One of them wonders what kind of extraordinary skill this could be, while Ryuk quietly decides to keep the full extent of his power a secret for now. Despite the Lord's foolish decision to let go of someone with such incredible abilities, the group acknowledges that Ryuk's intervention saved them. Ryuk insists on keeping his unique gift a secret, fearing the unknown consequences if the Lord discovers it. In response, one of the women warmly reassures him, promising to protect his secret as their lifesaver. The women express their gratitude but ask Ryuk to return the weapons to their original form, explaining they want to prove their strength as an all-female party by defeating the king worm on their own. Ryuk is taken aback by their request, feeling conflicted. The women firmly express their desire to fight using their own strength, determined to face the king worm without relying on Ryuk's power. Understanding their resolve, Ryuk agrees to support them as best he can. They all decide to rest and prepare for the battle ahead tomorrow. As the group shares a warm meal and lighthearted moments, the atmosphere grows relaxed and friendly. Later, the women assign Ryuk and Kisti the first watch, trusting them to keep everyone safe through the night. Ryuk agrees, ready to stand guard alongside Kisti. One of the women shyly kisses Ryuk on the cheek, quietly thanking him for saving them. Flustered, Ryuk watches as she quickly runs back to the tent. Bidding him good night, still blushing, Ryuk softly returns the greeting, touched by the unexpected moment. As they sit quietly by the fire, Ryuk gently urges Kisti not to push herself too hard and to get some rest. Flustered by the praise, Ryuk modestly denies being amazing, while Kisti admires his strength and expresses her feelings of inadequacy compared to him. Their moment is tender, with Kisti reaching out as she confesses her doubts about keeping up with everyone else. Kisti explains that a priest's role is to heal and bless others from behind the scenes, supporting the group from the rear. She admits it's normal for her to do so, but insists that strong people like Ryuk and herself don't necessarily need such blessings. Ryuk, inspired, asks Kisti if she could give him a blessing. Ryuk eagerly asks if he now has a blessing. Feeling reassured by the thought, Kisti, holding her staff, hesitates and asks what he plans to do next. With a confident smile, Ryuk tells her to just watch. Ryuk calmly stands as a dagger is thrown toward him, prompting a shocked voice to shout, "What are you doing?" With a confident smile, Ryuk closes his eyes and prepares to dodge the incoming attack. Kisti reflects on what she observed during the fight, noting that the attacks aimed at Ryuk seemed to narrowly miss vital spots, resulting in less damage than expected. She points out that even when Ryuk and another took hits they shouldn't have been able to endure, the strike somehow avoided causing critical harm. Kisti explains that her blessing, though invisible, is crucial in protecting everyone alongside her healing. Ryuk reflects on how receiving her blessing brings him immense reassurance, knowing she is safeguarding him and their companions. Kisti stands resolute, her angelic wings spread wide as she holds her staff firmly. She is the unwavering protector, the last line of defense who safeguards their lives with her blessing. Her calm determination shines through, embodying the strength that shields them all. Tears stream down her face, reflecting a mix of overwhelming relief and gratitude as she quietly thanks them. Nearby, a shy exchange unfolds between two companions, their words filled with heartfelt appreciation and happiness. The moment is gently interrupted by a cheerful greeting, bringing a sense of warmth and renewed hope to the group. The clear sky sets the stage for their bold plan. Subjugating the king worm, two companions share a confident cheer, their spirits high and ready for the challenge ahead. Suddenly, a curious voice breaks through with a question, eager to understand what's unfolding. The group's excitement bubbles as they share a secret, their enthusiasm unmistakable. As they prepare to move forward, the wheels of their carriage roll steadily across the terrain. Suddenly, the moment arrives. They've spotted the king worm, signaling the start of their daring encounter. The group braces themselves as the colossal king worm emerges from the ground, its menacing teeth and massive size overwhelming them. Shock and awe ripple through the companions as they realize the true scale of the challenge before them. With fierce determination, the leader rallies the group, shouting, "Let's go!" As the king worm lunges forward with terrifying speed and power, the moment to act has arrived, and every companion steels themselves for the battle ahead. The king worm crashes down with a thunderous boom, its massive body smashing through the ground as it lunges forward with unstoppable force. The impact sends debris flying, emphasizing the overwhelming power of this monstrous foe. The group stares in stunned disbelief as they realize the true identity of the colossal creature before them. An abyss worm, a terrifying monster known to devour even kings. The sheer size and shape of the beast confirm the overwhelming danger they face. Tension mounts as they prepare to confront this legendary threat. The group looks up in shock as the massive creature looms over them, its dripping, crystalline body unlike any king worm they've ever seen. One of them realizes with growing dread, this isn't a king worm. A voice breaks the stunned silence, revealing the terrifying truth. The monstrous creature before them is not just any worm, but the ancient supermonster known as the abyss worm. The weight of this revelation sinks in, signaling a threat far beyond anything they've faced. The moment of dread crystallizes as the protagonist realizes, we've been noticed. The abyss worm's many eyes lock onto them, its terrifying gaze piercing through the group. Tension spikes as the monster prepares to strike, leaving no room for escape. The abyss worm thrashes violently, its massive body pounding the ground in a desperate, disoriented frenzy. Seizing the moment, the group urgently orders each other to take cover behind the nearby rocks. They realize the creature has been relentlessly hunting them all along, and now is their chance to strike back. The group hides behind a magic-blocking barrier, knowing it can only hold for so long, and they must quickly devise a plan. One of them suggests a coordinated attack before the abyss worm recovers, while another volunteers to act as a decoy to buy time for the others to escape. Despite their efforts, the creature shows little sign of damage, raising the stakes even higher. The group's tension escalates as one member insists on volunteering as a decoy, confident in their magic to distract the abyss worm. Another immediately objects, fearing the impossibility of escape, amid the rising panic and uncertainty. A decisive voice cuts through the chaos, demanding silence and control. With determination, the leader insists no one should have to sacrifice themselves, urging the group to all make it back alive. The others, though tense, find hope in the idea that working together can secure their victory. Meanwhile, they acknowledge the abyss worm's advantage in the dark, as it thrives underground where visibility is poor at night. Under the quiet night sky, the leader urges the group to stay put and rest until morning, confident that remaining still will keep them hidden from the abyss worm. Inside their rocky shelter, the group gathers closely, ready to calmly devise a strategy together as they prepare for what lies ahead. As the group settles in, Ryuk gently urges Gina to get some rest. Showing his concern for everyone's well-being, Gina reflects on her role as a leader, feeling she failed to calm the others and admitting she got flustered, despite her self-doubt. There's a quiet moment of gratitude and understanding between them. He reassures her, expressing how happy he was when she invited him and persuaded the others to let him join. With a warm smile, he admits he's grateful for the chance to experience the joy of traveling with companions. Easing her worries, Gina quietly admits to herself that she was the one who suggested subjugating the king worm, and now fears that both Ryuk and the others must hate her for it. Overwhelmed by guilt and doubt, she's caught off guard when something suddenly startles her. Ryuk gently reminds Gina that if she speaks so harshly about herself, it would only sadden Yufio and Kisti. He reassures her that those two would never hate her, as they are loyal companions willing to risk their lives for her. Gina, caught off guard, responds with a quiet, "Huh?" Ryuk gently reminds Gina that Yufio and Kisti trust her completely and chose to come this far of their own free will. He reassures her that this is the essence of being an adventurer, emphasizing the strength of their bond and shared resolve. Gina, wrapped in a cloak, shyly teases Ryuk for acting all high and mighty despite being a beginner, prompting him to laugh and agree. Her expression softens as she quietly admits she feels better now, determined to face the challenge ahead together. The scene closes on a lantern, symbolizing their shared hope to survive what lies before them. As dawn approaches, Ryuk reflects on how, despite trying to appear composed in front of everyone, he finds it all a bit lame and laughs quietly to himself. He clutches the crystal pendant around his neck, a symbol of his resolve as the battle draws near. She gently offers the charm, a symbol of protection, urging him to return safely. Ryuk clutches the pendant close to his heart, promising with quiet determination that he will come back and asking her to wait for him. The group prepares for battle, each ready with their own weapons and magic equipment. Despite knowing it will be tough to land a fatal blow in one strike, they resolve to wear down their enemy bit by bit. With determination, Ryuk rallies everyone, shouting, "Let's go!" The massive creature begins to move, its enormous body rising from the ground with a rumbling force. Suddenly, a projectile is launched, striking the creature with a powerful impact that sends shockwaves through its thick hide. The battle has officially begun, with the group's attack landing its first blow. Ryuk seizes the moment and strikes the creature's eye with a powerful sword slash, causing an explosive impact. The beast reels from the unexpected damage, its massive form trembling under the force of the attack. The group intensifies their assault as the mage conjures a powerful ice barrier, crystals forming intricate patterns around her. Nearby, another caster focuses deeply, channeling energy through her crescent staff. Meanwhile, the warrior charges forward, sword raised and determination blazing in her eyes, ready to strike the next decisive blow. The group watches in stunned silence as the monstrous creature suddenly emits a powerful, ominous roar. Their expressions reflect a mix of awe and apprehension, realizing the battle has taken an unexpected turn. Hope flickers as one warrior dares to believe they might actually succeed, while another grimly warns it's a death flag. The creature's eye begins to twitch ominously, signaling a sudden, dangerous shift. Alarmed, the leader urgently commands the group to fall back immediately. The creature unleashes a devastating shockwave, shattering the ice barrier with overwhelming force. The two casters brace themselves, shielding their faces as debris and energy surge around them. The monstrous creature lunges forward with a terrifying, gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth, its attack swift and brutal. The warrior braces herself, eyes clenched shut in grim determination as she raises her sword to meet the deadly strike head-on. The group checks on each other, relief mixed with urgency as one vows to heal them immediately. Yet, despite their temporary safety, a looming threat remains. An enormous, tentacled creature emerges, leaving them desperate and uncertain about how to confront this new danger. The group struggles to approach as the creature's overwhelming power keeps them at bay. Their expressions harden with resolve despite the danger. One of them urgently asks the others to hold on and buy 5 more minutes, steeling themselves for what's to come. With a determined gaze, he holds up his phone and declares, "I have an idea. Now is the time to give it everything to return alive with his companions." The half-hearted attacks prove ineffective against the colossal monster, forcing a desperate plea for just 5 more minutes. Meanwhile, the protagonist's face lights up with determination as he reveals, "I've got an idea." Frustration mounts as the protagonist admits their attacks have been useless against the monster, questioning what they can possibly do. Then, with resolve, they declare their plan to use the formidable skill, Absolute Destruction Adamantine Force. Shocked, their companion recognizes it as a rare, high-level warrior gift skill, surprised that such a powerful ability could be wielded now. The protagonist explains that the skill is a one-hit kill but creates a large opening when used, so he asks his companion to distract the monster during that critical moment. Despite her frustration at always having to rely on him, she reluctantly agrees to help. With a determined shout, the protagonist rallies everyone to move forward together. Their companions respond with firm resolve, ready to play their part. United, they charge toward the looming monster, prepared to execute their risky plan. The protagonist taunts the monster, daring it to come closer. Suddenly, the monster launches a massive attack, forcing the group to sprint away in panic. Their companion shouts a warning as the monstrous assault closes in fast. The monster taunts the group, mocking their inability to deal damage as it stomps down fiercely, causing the ground to crack and splinter beneath its massive foot. Despite the overwhelming threat, the monster's arrogance reveals a hint of frustration. The protagonist faces a swirling, ominous vortex, its dark center radiating an overwhelming force. As debris falls around them, a companion cries out in alarm, rushing toward Yufio, who grimaces in pain. The tension spikes as the group braces for the next devastating move. The two companions leap forward with determination, narrowly dodging the destructive force crashing down around them. Their focused expressions reveal their resolve to survive and fight back despite the chaos. The tension escalates as they brace for what comes next. The two companions exchange a brief moment of gratitude before realizing their attacks barely scratch the monster. With a determined yet cautious mindset, they decide to keep it distracted, but a sudden movement from the creature catches them off guard, signaling impending danger. As a powerful explosion erupts nearby, the two companions shield themselves from the blast. Their bodies tense with urgency. Meanwhile, a worried ally clutching a damaged device calls out anxiously, desperate to know if they are unharmed. Kirsty arrives just in time, prompting the group to quickly regroup and spread out. With renewed hope, they prepare to face the looming threat together, as the monstrous creature looms closer, ready to strike. Amidst the chaos, the young warrior steadies himself, gripping his sword tightly as determination burns fiercely in his eyes. He prepares to face the monstrous threat head-on, unwavering despite the danger. The young warrior takes charge, apologizing for the delay and commanding the group to lure the abyss worm towards him. His companions respond with determination, ready to follow his lead as they prepare to face the creature together. With a fierce battle cry, the young warrior channels his full power, shouting absolute, as he prepares to strike with unwavering resolve. With a powerful strike, the young warrior unleashes his destruction force, slashing fiercely at the massive abyss worm, sending shockwaves through the air as the battle intensifies. The young warrior taunts the abyss worm, demanding to know how it feels to be attacked. The monstrous creature slowly rises, its many tendrils writhing ominously. Suddenly, it lunges forward, catching the warrior off guard and forcing him to react in shock. Realizing their attacks aren't enough, the group faces a dire moment of doubt and urgency. The young warrior quickly commands everyone to fall back, instructing them to use sonic bombs and smoke screens to regroup and strategize. The massive abyss worm looms ominously as the team prepares for their next move. The young warrior grimly acknowledges their setback, realizing they're back to square one. Gathering his companions, he calls for their attention with renewed determination. With resolve burning in his eyes, he declares that he will now use his last trump card. The young warrior reveals his last trump card, a powerful attack stronger than their previous absolute destruction adamant force, but warns it could trap everyone in its range. He urges his companions to hide and use the opening created to escape. Even if he can't defeat the abyss worm outright, shocked and desperate, two of his comrades protest, unable to accept leaving him behind. The young warrior firmly insists that he's not on a suicide mission, confident that he has a real chance to win. Despite the desperate protests of his comrades, he remains resolute in his decision. His companions, torn between fear and understanding, call out to each other in concern. With a mix of worry and hope, she quietly pleads for him not to die, her voice trembling with emotion. He meets her gaze with a calm, determined smile and softly replies, "Yeah." The vast, peaceful landscape contrasts with the gravity of their exchange, underscoring the fragile hope amidst looming danger. Facing the towering abyss worm alone, the young warrior reluctantly prepares to use a mysterious device he never imagined he would need. With a determined yet tense expression, he activates it, triggering a swirling portal to open before him. The Demon Slayer magic sword materializes, a powerful fusion of the Crimson Serpent's self-destruct skill and an adamantite blade. Its unique ability, counter-reflection, amplifies and returns damage received by the wielder. Though it cannot store or nullify physical damage, this weapon promises a fierce advantage in the battle ahead. He realizes that with his current stats, his HP would deplete before he could store enough damage to fully charge the sword. Yet, if he combines the sword's ability with the Crimson Serpent's skill, there's a chance it might just work. His determination grows as he clutches the pendant, hoping for the best. With unwavering resolve, he grips the Demon Slayer magic sword tightly, reminding himself that after all his bold declarations, he must not fail, facing the monstrous foe head-on. He steels his courage and challenges it to attack, shouting, "Come on!" As the blade slices through the air, the warrior's calm determination is unwavering. His eyes fixed on the imminent clash, his outstretched hand and steady stance show his readiness to endure and reflect the incoming attack with deadly precision. Yufio and the woman watch in horror as Ryuk charges forward, their voices trembling with fear and desperation. The air thickens with tension as the impending clash looms closer, leaving them helpless to intervene. Shock and disbelief fill the air as Ryuk, gravely wounded and kneeling with his sword planted firmly in the ground, struggles to stay upright. The woman's voice trembles with panic, calling out his name in desperation. Against all odds, Ryuk's final, desperate move has unexpectedly failed. Ryuk collapses, his right arm severed and bleeding heavily, leaving his comrades in shock and disbelief. The gravity of the situation sinks in as they realize the dire crisis they face. Despite the pain, Ryuk's fierce determination burns strong. Ryuk summons the power of the water slime skill, damage regeneration. Recalling their encounter at the oasis, with determination, he grips a crystal, Ready to counter the mounting damage, the fight to heal and survive intensifies. Despite the agonizing pain, Ryuk steels himself, determined to endure attacks that would normally incapacitate him and fully charge the magic sword's gauge. Facing the monstrous foe head-on, he refuses to back down, even as the creature taunts him, insisting his efforts are far from enough. The battle reaches a critical point, testing Ryuk's resolve against overwhelming odds. As panic rises, one of Ryuk's comrades fears for his life, shouting that he's going to die. But another quickly intervenes, explaining that Ryuk is deliberately taking hits, only dodging fatal blows to trigger his technique. The truth behind Ryuk's strategy begins to surface, offering a glimmer of hope amid the chaos. Torn between fear and resolve, the group debates their next move. One insists that using Ryuk as bait and fleeing isn't the kind of adventurers they want to be, while another reluctantly admits they have no other choice and that interfering would only make things worse. The weight of their dilemma hangs heavy as they face the impossible decision ahead. Despite the fear and hesitation, she firmly rejects the idea of running away, reminding them that no one suggested fleeing. Yet, she admits the harsh truth that in this strategy, they are merely obstacles in Ryuk's path. The tension mounts as they grapple with their limited options. Yufio realizes Ryuk is likely planning a suicide attack, as he hasn't revealed his plan beyond the current strategy. Despite the danger Ryuk faces, the group refuses to simply run away, determined to uphold the kind of adventurers they aspired to be. The weight of their resolve hangs in the air as they prepare to face what comes next. With unwavering confidence, she declares their readiness to jump in and help if Ryuk falls into danger, urging everyone to stay prepared for action at any moment. Proudly, she reminds them of their identity as the A-rank party, the Crimson Maidens, and rallies them to fight with all their strength until the very end. With determined eyes, the Crimson Maidens vow to stand by Ryuk's side, refusing to let him face the battle alone. Their unity and resolve shine through as they prepare to fight together, no matter the cost. Ryuk braces himself, sweat and blood marking the intensity of the fight as he narrowly blocks a powerful strike. Despite the pain and injury, he pushes forward with fierce determination, refusing to back down. The battle rages on, each moment a test of his endurance and will. The monstrous opponent taunts Ryuk, questioning his resolve and stamina as the battle drags on. Ryuk's intense gaze reveals his struggle to maintain strength, sweat betraying his exhaustion but also his unwavering determination. The tension between them escalates as the creature mocks his faltering endurance. Ryuk steadies himself, gripping his sword tightly as a powerful energy blast surges toward him. The monstrous opponent's gaping maw unleashes a devastating attack, forcing Ryuk to brace for impact with unwavering resolve. Ryuk braces himself as the energy blast hurtles toward him, his grip tightening on his sword. His eyes widen in shock, sensing something unexpected amidst the oncoming attack. The tension spikes as the moment of impact draws near. Ryuk realizes he's out of mana, and his healing won't activate in time to save him. Panic surges as he braces against the incoming attack. Knowing the situation is dire, his eyes narrow with fierce determination. He just needs to take one more step. Ryuk's desperate defense unexpectedly succeeds as the attack is deflected, leaving him stunned but alive. A glimmer of hope flickers within him. Could this turn of fate be a blessing? His hand trembles as he grapples with the sudden shift in his dire situation. Just as Ryuk struggles, Kisti appears, her expression fierce and determined as she raises her staff. With urgency, she casts Heal Recovery, rushing to mend Ryuk's wounds and turn the tide. Kisti steps forward with fierce resolve, declaring she will protect her comrades no matter what. Ryuk's concern deepens as a massive threat looms overhead, urging Kisti to run for her safety. The tension escalates as danger closes in, forcing them to act quickly. Gina scolds Ryuk sharply, demanding he stop trying to handle everything on his own. As tension mounts, a massive explosion erupts nearby, while a glowing, intricate magical circle appears, signaling a powerful spell being unleashed. Just as hope seems to waver, Yufio appears, ready for battle with a confident smile and his staff in hand. Ryuk, surprised but determined, urges everyone to act now. With a fierce shout, Yufio charges forward, sword in hand, prepared to turn the tide. With fierce determination, Ryuk unleashes his full power, his sword radiating a dark, swirling energy as he prepares to strike. The intensity in his eyes signals the release of a devastating attack. Damage release. Ryuk unleashes a devastating combination attack, merging absolute destruction adamant force with counter-reflection, unleashing overwhelming power in a single, decisive strike. Ryuk collapses to the ground, his sword falling beside him with a heavy thud, two companions rush to his side, their faces filled with worry as they plead for him to hold on. The aftermath of his fierce attack leaves a haunting silence, the fate of their battle hanging in the balance. The group shares a moment of relief and admiration, acknowledging the defeat of the Abyss Worm. One of them praises the incredible feat, while the massive, defeated Abyss Worm lies motionless, its subjugation declared complete. With the Abyss Worm finally defeated, the group raises their mugs in a celebratory toast. Their voices unite in a heartfelt cheers, marking the hard-fought victory and the bond forged through battle. The group expresses their heartfelt gratitude to Ryuk, acknowledging that without him, they would have been wiped out. Ryuk humbly insists that his victory was only possible because of everyone's support. Moved by his words, his companions look at him with a mix of relief and admiration, their bond strengthened by the shared struggle. Joy bursts forth as one companion embraces Ryuk, declaring him a great guy, their bond shining brighter under the starry night. With spirits high, they vow to celebrate their hard-won victory together. The quiet campsite under the vast sky stands as a peaceful backdrop to their moment of triumph and camaraderie. Caught completely off guard, the young man stammers in shock as three girls stand before him, blushing and barely covering themselves. His mind races, struggling to understand why they are naked in front of him. The girl nervously explains that this is what they call a night visit. Revealing her bold intentions, the boy, still flustered, demands to know what he's supposed to accept, while another girl quietly admits that Kisti has gathered her courage for this moment. Overwhelmed and blushing furiously, the young man struggles to keep his composure as he desperately demands that everyone put some clothes on immediately. His voice echoes into the quiet night, filled with a mix of shock and embarrassment. The girls, now wrapped in towels, press the young man for a response, their expressions a mix of nervousness and determination. He forces a strained smile, demanding an explanation for their bold actions. One girl nervously explains that both male and senior female adventurers say the best way to confess feelings is through a night visit. The girls apologize shyly, admitting they've never experienced love before and thought this bold approach was the proper way to confess. The boy, catching a hint of their feelings, looks surprised and asks if they just said, like. Meanwhile, a shadowed figure reflects on the adventurer's unique view of love. The girls confess that they've all fallen for Ryuk, leaving him stunned and flustered. One boy tries to explain why they like him, praising his strength, sincerity, and humility. Overwhelmed by their honesty, Ryuk nervously admits he understands their feelings. Ryuk nervously thanks the girls for their feelings but hesitates, admitting he admires someone else. One girl smiles softly as she confesses her own feelings, while Ryuk's friend bluntly points out that Ryuk is clearly devoted to Anise alone, suggesting this confession might just be for their own satisfaction. As their voices merge, the two girls call out to Ryuk together, their expressions filled with a mix of hope and determination. With a gentle smile, she boldly declares, "We like you," while Ryuk, caught off guard, quietly responds, "Everyone," his expression a mix of surprise and realization. Ryuk smiles warmly, expressing his gratitude with a heartfelt, "Thank you." His friend, with a teasing grin, encourages him to come to them for comfort if Anise ever rejects him. Catching Ryuk off guard, amidst the stars, a surprised voice demands, "What did you say?" while laughter echoes softly. The group travels together in a covered wagon, crossing a vast, open landscape under a bright sky. Inside, Ryuk looks ahead thoughtfully, his hand glowing with a mysterious energy. Around him, his companions share light-hearted moments, their smiles and laughter filling the confined space with warmth and camaraderie. The group gathers in a lively tavern to celebrate their victory over the Abyss Worm, raising their mugs in a cheerful toast. Amid the congratulations, a mix of disbelief and pride fills the room as they reflect on the surprising success of their subjugation request. The mood is light and triumphant, with everyone sharing in the joy of their hard-earned accomplishment. As the group enjoys their meal, one of them asks Ryuk if he's truly okay with splitting the reward. Reminding him they defeated the monster together, Ryuk responds affirmatively, but then notices something, a bag, and begins to reach for it, recalling its significance. Ryuk explains that the bag he gave them has transformed into an item box, a skill derived from the Abyss Worm's ability to swallow anything and store any non-living items in unlimited quantities. He reveals his intention to create one for each of them, surprising the group and prompting their curious reactions. Ryuk's sudden action sparks panic among the group, with one member urgently telling him to put the item away and questioning what he's showing them. Another sighs in exasperation, while a bystander curiously asks why everyone is so flustered. The tension and confusion fill the room as they try to understand Ryuk's unexpected move. The woman explains that item boxes are legendary magical tools so rare that casually taking items out can provoke attacks. The group processes this revelation with mixed reactions. One acknowledges the danger, another recalls Ryuk fiddling with the item during their carriage ride, and a third senses the situation is far beyond normal, growing increasingly concerned. Ryuk cautiously asks the group if they will each take an item box, but quickly admits that it's too dangerous for everyone to have one. The group visibly struggles with the weight of the decision, showing hesitation and concern. Despite the offer, they acknowledge that accepting such powerful tools might be overwhelming for them all. One of the group members gently requests just one item box for the entire party. Hoping to balance power with caution, Ryuk agrees with a bright smile, grateful and promising to treasure it. The woman reminds them to handle the precious item box with care, emphasizing its danger. As the empty mug is set down, a voice offers to go get some drinks. The scene shifts to a lively tavern where the character approaches the bar, catching the attention of someone who warmly greets their return. Anise warmly welcomes the returning character back to the tavern. Expressing relief to see him again, surprised, he asks if she came looking for him, while she reveals she just got back from the labyrinth yesterday. Their reunion carries a gentle, familiar warmth amid the lively tavern setting. Anise smiles warmly, expressing her relief that he made it back safely. Flustered but determined, he nervously begins to tell her he's grown stronger, then hesitantly starts to ask her something important. Suddenly, Yufio bursts in with a bright smile and hugs Ryuk tightly, teasing him for being late. Ryuk is caught off guard, exclaiming in surprise as Yufio's cheerful energy fills the room. Ryuk is suddenly overwhelmed as Gina and Kisti join the hug, teasing him about being the main character. Anise, looking concerned, questions just how drunk they are. Recalling that Kisti was only drinking juice, her expression shifts subtly, hinting at a deeper unease beneath the surface. Anise quietly interrupts the lively group, sensing she's intruding on their playful moment. The others tease Ryuk about being rejected, prompting him to defensively deny it as they move closer, ready to comfort him. Yufio comments on how unusual it is to see the man-hating sword princess talking to a man alone. Sipping her drink thoughtfully, Ryuk responds with curiosity, asking if that's really the case. While Yufio begins to mention a famous story, the sword princess watches him intently, her gaze sharp and focused. Ryuk, blushing, insists that Anise looks happy now because she was happy back then too. Yufio explains the rumors that Anise refuses to team up with anyone below S rank, making her seem untouchable to beginners like Ryuk. Meanwhile, a bartender listens quietly, acknowledging the truth behind these stories. Determined, Ryuk clenches his fist and vows to become S rank in no time. He's reminded that raising his rank requires joining a party and accepting subjugation requests, which makes him pause in realization. Overwhelmed but grateful, Ryuk tearfully pledges to do his best with everyone's support, while the group quietly expresses their honest willingness to help. With a determined promise to work him to the bone, the group assures Ryuk of their full support. The scene then shifts to the vast northern forest and the fortified Heisenberg territory, setting the stage for what lies ahead. Frustrated, a figure acknowledges that their target has escaped. Without hesitation, they order their comrades to find her quickly, urgency driving their swift pursuit through the forest. The girl, clearly cornered and trembling, clutches her chest as the chilling command to kill her echoes nearby. Despite her fear, a faint resolve flickers in her eyes. What role will this desperate girl play in Ryuk's fate? The group stands before a bulletin board filled with various requests, searching for a mission that catches their interest. Yufio seems deep in thought, while the others eagerly await his decision. Suddenly, a voice interrupts, prompting Yufio to respond hesitantly. A figure steps forward, introducing himself as Rejection, the royal court magician chief, and asks if they are the A-rank party Crimson Maidens. The group reacts with surprise at his identity. Rejection then inquires about the kind of request they have for him, hinting at an important mission. The shocking news spreads quickly. The princess is missing. She was traveling incognito with only a few guards when their camp in the northern forest was attacked by monsters, causing them to get separated during the chaos. The urgency to find her is clear, but complications remain as the group processes this critical information. Despite the urgency to find the princess, the calm demeanor of the person before them stands out. They explain their own failed search due to unfamiliarity with the forest and express a desire for guidance from someone skilled in navigating it. Yet, a shadow of doubt lingers, as the group senses these people might be hiding something. The group agrees to join the search, with the three women expressing their readiness and Ryuk giving his hesitant approval. With the plan set, they prepare to head into the forest immediately, determined to find the missing princess. At the site of the attack, the group learns the princess fled northeast, but the details remain unclear. One man admits he couldn't see the monster well due to the darkness. Raising suspicion, quietly, someone senses deceit beneath his words. The group realizes one of them possesses the night vision skill, a valuable but potentially troublesome advantage. Despite this, there's no trace of any monster scent nearby. Deepening the mystery, the tension rises as they prepare for the challenges ahead. As tension mounts, one of the group members channels a powerful electric magic, crackling energy surrounding her. Nearby, another readies her sword, eyes sharp and focused. The group braces for an imminent confrontation with a strange, insect-like creature lurking in the forest, while others prepare their spells and weapons, united in their determination. They discuss Rastrian, the Thunder Emperor and the kingdom's strongest magician, who played a key role in the war years ago. As the group reflects on his power, the young man suddenly reacts to an unexpected sound, urging Gina to wait. The young man quickly decides to take the lead, apologizing as he moves forward. He warns Gina to be careful, and she acknowledges his caution with a determined look. Suddenly, the ground beneath them cracks sharply as his foot lands, signaling an intense moment is about to unfold. The young man darts forward with incredible speed, warning Gina not to act alone. Gina watches in shock, barely able to process how fast he moved. Ahead, a figure appears in the distance, drawing their immediate attention. The young man identifies the approaching threat as a hell banshee, a cursed creature that screams only in front of humans. Gina's eyes widen in alarm as the danger becomes clear. Without hesitation, the young man decides to flee, while Gina stumbles back, overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events. As the danger closes in, the young man reaches out urgently to grab Gina's hand, his expression fierce with determination. Gina, wide-eyed and alarmed, instinctively stretches her arm toward him. Their hands finally clasp tightly, a silent promise to face the threat together. The young man realizes that his flight ability can only lift himself, so carrying Gina will slow him down. Despite this, he holds her tightly, determined to protect her even if it means moving slower. Below them, the rocky ground rushes up as they fall rapidly. The young man crashes onto the rocky ground with a heavy thud, immediately checking himself for injuries. Gina clings to him, both catching their breath after the fall. Concerned, he quickly turns to her and asks if she's hurt. Gina cautiously confirms the young man's identity as Princess Grimlace, relieved when he assures her he's on her side. She questions if he's one of the pursuers, but he denies it, explaining he came to help her. Gina then carefully asks about the situation, specifically if the pursuers he means are from Rastian. The young man confirms that the king is gravely ill, and reveals that his stepmother, the current queen, and her son, the prince, are scheming to claim the throne. Gina reacts with surprise, questioning the implications of the prince being the stepmother's son. The young man reveals he holds the first right of succession as the current king's bloodline. He explains that his stepmother used Rastian to spread false information and lure him out under the pretense that someone could cure his father's illness, all to orchestrate an assassination attempt. Despite this, he acknowledges that Gina managed to escape successfully. He reflects on how Himika has always protected him, noticing the attack just in time and helping him escape once again. Concerned for her safety, he urges the princess to leave quickly, emphasizing the need to escape first. The young man notices a flow of air in the cave, indicating they haven't lost their way despite falling deep underground. He confidently suggests following the airflow to find an exit, and then they can search for Himika. Gina, relieved and hopeful, agrees enthusiastically. As they navigate the cavern, the young man carries Gina carefully, moving steadily through the rocky terrain. Suddenly, a mysterious object shatters into sharp crystal fragments, prompting him to raise a protective hand, ready to defend them both. Gina looks up at Ryuk with a mix of curiosity and hesitation, searching for answers. Ryuk meets her gaze calmly, offering a reassuring smile as he extends his hand. From their vantage point in the cavern, Gina finally voices the question weighing on her mind. Ryuk, who exactly are you? Ryuk reflects on how Gina, despite using only common skills to avoid suspicion, quickly recognized the extraordinary nature of his unique gift after just a short time together. Something rare and beyond ordinary skill sets like swordsmanship or magic. Ryuk downplays his identity, calling himself just an ordinary F-rank adventurer. Gina, however, senses there's something different about him and admits he's quite unusual. As she begins to explain, Ryuk's curiosity is piqued by her words. Ryuk recalls how those who seek great power often do so to gain status or honor. Reflecting on his early days as an adventurer, he remembers a pivotal moment when another adventurer stepped in to help him. This memory hints at the influence that shaped his path. Ryuk reflects on the person he admired, someone who worked tirelessly to grow stronger and, with the support of many, helped him reach his current strength. Inspired by that example, he vows to use his own power to help others, just as that person did, holding on to hope for the future. Ryuk admits his desire to walk alongside those he admires, even if it seems selfish. When questioned about his motive, he hesitates but firmly denies it being selfish, revealing a deeper resolve within him. She smiles warmly, expressing gratitude and affirming that Ryuk's way of thinking is truly wonderful. Ryuk notices something, his attention drawn to the cave's broken wall. Spotting the exit, he instructs the princess to wait there just in case, preparing to move forward cautiously. The girl gently asks Ryuk to call her Grimlaze, revealing a more personal side. Ryuk smiles warmly and agrees, promising to check things out while addressing her respectfully. Before he leaves, he warns Grimlaze to stay put until he calls for her, and she nods in understanding, ready to follow his instructions. As Ryuk cautiously approaches the glowing magical barrier, he suddenly winces in pain, startled by an unexpected force. Grimlaze urgently calls out to him, her voice filled with concern, pleading for him not to come any closer. Just as Ryuk struggles with the barrier, the kingdom's strongest magician appears, greeting him with a chilling smile and a mocking praise that sends a wave of dread through the scene.